Hey guys, Will here from MachineLovus.com. This is another video in the series on creating automated email campaigns using Python, AWS, and some other tools. Okay, so last time we automated the creation of an email campaign using the MailChimp API and AWS Lambda. And I ended that video by being unsure exactly if everything went okay. Now I want to show you via the AWS Management Console how I can monitor it. I actually changed the Lambda execution time from happening every day to happening every hour just so I can get some statistics on it. So where I'm going now is CloudWatch, which has some logs for the Lambdas that I've built thus far. I have this one Lambda, which is my automated data pipeline. And this gives me insight into how I'm doing pulling posts off of Reddit. So this gives me information about the articles that I'm pulling and off of what subreddit. And this is happening every hour. So every hour I get a log of what's going on. And so these are the logging results from Ask Programming. I go through hot, new, random, rising, and top, and take a look at the latest posts and their comments and store them in a database in AWS. And I've had videos about doing that that you can look up. I also have this new log group that I didn't set up that just sort of came out of the box. This is the newsletter log group, and it is giving me the output that I get when I just run my script locally to generate this newsletter. And so what this does is it goes through different subs and pulls out articles that I've specified, articles that meet certain criteria of being in the last 7 days and over a certain amount of upvotes. So this log group is showing that the script is executing, and it's executing every hour. Now, if I go to my MailChimp, what I also see is that I've started to get every hour these newsletters that are being generated from this campaign, which is exactly what I want. So, so there you have it. I know that AWS Lambda is producing emails. I know it from the AWS log groups, and I know it by just looking in my MailChimp newsletter campaigns. Okay, so that's a little bit on the monitoring side. Now, I also like these newsletters that I'm producing aren't very stylized, and if you probably saw this newsletter come in, you'd likely delete it because it looks like it's from 1999. So what I need to do is generate some HTML that will fix this. Now, that usually makes me cringe doing that, but I found that what you can do with MailChimp is design a template that you want, and you can do this with like a drag and drop editor, put a photo and then just like a read more button, and you can edit this about like 5 more articles on data science and engineering, right? And it can link to the web address, and I can put that in here. Just like read more. Right, so I have this little template I set up, and it has, the things that I want, right? I could put a photo, and then I have a little button, and I could share my story. Now, what's nice about this is you could design whatever template you want, and then once you have it, you can export it as HTML, and that is a really nice feature, because what we can do is grab that HTML and use it in our script, in our AWS, in our Lambda, and and send out a formatted version of this email template whenever we want with AWS Lambda. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I'm going to export this as HTML, export template, which is default. I already had a version of this, and I'm going to save it. So what should I do? So I have exported it. By the way, this is my code that I can just run using main. Okay, so now what I need to do is grab that code that I downloaded. Okay, so this is the HTML, and it's a lot of HTML, so I'm glad I didn't have to write it myself. So, but this is everything I want. Now what's neat is I can just take this HTML and put it in this script as a variable. Let's say this HTML is equal to all of this. Okay, so I just have this big file of HTML, and this is my variable that I'm going to use. Actually, I'm just going to put it in, I have this constants file. So under product, newsletter, lambda, I have a file that's my config, and there, my HTML is in there. Okay, so what I can do is I can send out in my MailChimp part of this code, I have config.html. Okay, now what I need to do is just pass in the string that I've generated. That's the message. So the last thing to do would be to pass in the string into that HTML, and I could do that because this is a string. I just do format and pass in string is the variable that is my message, and then in the HTML I think it's something like share your story. Yeah, so instead of share your story, I'm just gonna have open and close bracket, and that is where my string is going to go. And so I think this will work. Here I am in my shell in my newsletter lambda. So if I type core non-ASCII characters, okay, 958. Non-ASCII character. Let's see. How do I find this character? Rights reserved. Okay, it's in this line. I'm gonna delete that line. See if that helps. Okay, so it's generating. Okay, so Okay, guys, well, there's always something. So the issue that I've encountered now is that our HTML works. It works fine, but we are getting caught in the style sheet. It is tripping us up because Python isn't reading it exactly as it should be. I think, I'm not exactly sure why either. There's something about how this style sheet exported that doesn't want to be read. So need to figure that out, and I will. But for now, if you are following along, that's some homework that you can try to figure out how to get the style sheet to export in the message to the MailChimp API. Everything else is working fine, and if you take the style sheet out, you actually can get the content just how you like it, except you need a style sheet. So that's what I'll be tackling in the near future, but this is really close to being something that happens automatically and that looks pretty good. So hopefully next time we'll be able to finish this up. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments and thoughts below. Thanks, guys.